And now, WJCL News, working for you.
And an accident in Lone County leaves one dead. Good evening, I'm Ashley Lincoln, and that's our top story tonight. The Georgia State Patrol is investigating a fatal accident. It happened around noon near Georgia 301 in Lone County. Troopers say a couple was traveling northbound in a Ford Mustang and ran off the road. The couple was traveling from Florida, and troopers say they were thrown from the car, and a woman was pronounced dead at scene.
The vehicle was occupied by two people. We have one confirmed that is a fatal injury. The other was transported by air evac to Memorial Medical Center.
And the man was taken to Memorial Hospital here in Savannah. Troopers haven't released the identity of the victims. And an overnight shooting on Savannah's south side sent one man to the hospital and another arrested. It's this man on your screen. Police arrested Antonio Easterling. Metro Police say the shooting happened around midnight at the Days Inn on Gateway Boulevard. Easterling shot Kasim Brelford after an argument at the hotel. Brelford was taken to Memorial Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And that shooting came just hours after leaders called for a ceasefire in Savannah. This comes after a deadly week of shootings. Friday, East Savannah community members came together to demand a stop to violence. Then moments later, shots were fired. According to Metro Police, shots were fired near Waters and Collins Friday evening. And though no one was hit, this is the fifth incident of shots fired in the past couple of days. There was a shooting at 36th and Live Oak around 10:30 Thursday. Officers say they were called to the area for reports of a gunshot victim, but when they arrived, they didn't find anyone. Just minutes later, they responded to Mississippi and Ohio Avenues to find two vehicles with multiple bullet holes abandoned in the street. Then two other men arrived at the hospital with gunshot wounds. They arrested one victim for an unrelated warrant. And while officers were on scene at the first incident, they heard gunshots again and found a vehicle with bullet holes at Waters Avenue and 35th Street. Now, these incidents come after two other shootings in Savannah this week. One happened around 2:45 Thursday morning. Officers say Kenneth Hargrove was shot in the 2300 block of Ogeechee Road. And WJCL was on scene of another shooting around 8:30 Wednesday night. That happened at Utah Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. Police say Miriam McClendon was shot and died Thursday afternoon. And WJCL's Brandon Livornia is working for you tonight with more on how the community wants to put a stop to all of this violence.
Those with Savannah Youth City Incorporated want Savannians to take back their city. They're planning a citywide march to voice their concerns for their community and hopefully stop the violence.
Investigators have their hands full after numerous shootings throughout the week. They started Wednesday evening. Metro police officers found one victim with multiple gunshot wounds. Early Thursday morning, another man was shot near Ogeechee Road. Then late Thursday evening near Waters Avenue, two more were shot.
I think it's a travesty. It's really sad that this is happening in this community.
Alicia Blakely is with Savannah Youth City Incorporated. The group plans to hold a citywide march a week from now, calling on those in the community to stop the shootings.
Stop the violence. We want them to employ conflict resolution, talk it out as opposed to shooting it out.
Yolanda Abbott plans to attend the rally. Abbott believes it will take the entire city coming together to stop the violence.
Why wouldn't I? Something does need to change. The violence needs to stop. There's no reason for it. We need to figure out the root of the problem, and we need to work on that.
Because a bullet knows no face, color, or creed. And an innocent person, the person they're going after may not be the person that gets the bullet.
Religious and city leaders have called for the city's help in preventing more shootings. 4 men are in the hospital this week. Those planning the march hope that number won't grow in the coming week.
It's not just our issue per se, it's everybody's issue in Savannah.
It's no question about it. We can come together. I've been here the majority of my life, and I know we can come together.
The march will begin at 10:25 next Saturday morning from all churches across Savannah, ending in Ellis Square. In the studio, I'm Brandon Livornia for WJCL News, working for you.
And for more information on the march, you can visit our website at wjcl.com. And members of Safe Shelter held the first ever community response fair. Safe Shelter is an organization that focuses on domestic abuse in the area. They do outreach by educating the public, along with providing services to abuse victims. Members hope today's fair opened the channel for those in need of help.
Our people in the community need to know that they're not alone. They're not the only one that's going through that particular situation. And so if they come to the fair, they can see that there's people in the community that wants to help.
And Safe Shelter is an organization that focuses on domestic abuse in the area. They do outreach by educating the public along with providing services to abuse victims. Now, members hope today's fair opened the channel for those in need of help. And great weather today, Samara. It's just a gorgeous day outside.
Definitely superb out there. We saw lots of sunshine and really no rain at all and good temperatures, not too bad.
Yes, really good.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the temps right now. All right, here's a look at the current temperatures in Savannah, 68 degrees. Further inland, 71, where that cold front is starting to creep in up towards Hampton, already dropping to 61 degrees up there. We're also seeing temps in the mid to upper 60s along the coast down towards Darien and Midway, and further inland to areas like Reedsville and Glenville. We're looking at about 64 degrees there. Now here's a look at the storm tracker satellite and radar. You can see a little bit of that dry cold front beginning to make its way into the area. It will pass through overnight. Therefore, we'll start to see some more cloud coverage work its way from the inland all the way towards the coast. Tonight, we will see temps continue to fall as the cold front makes its way in. Temps are going to drop to the upper 50s, mostly clear conditions, and you're going to want to stay tuned because in our storm tracker weather headlines tonight, we are talking about the tropics, Hurricane Gonzalo, where that's at. Also, the perfect week ahead in terms of weather, and we'll break down what the dry cold front is. That's it for now. Stay tuned. We've got more on the other side of the break.
Definitely read the same thing twice in that story. This sounds familiar. Huh? Yeah. Oh man. Too much time. I don't think I put both socks in there. I think I must have messed up. Oh, Lord. Good.
And now, WJCL News, working for you.
And the worry that Ebola could become a biomedical ticking time bomb has transportation officials on high alert. Police also held passengers on a bus yesterday in Washington, D.C. after one rider reportedly from West Africa vomited. And another Texas hospital worker is in quarantine on a cruise ship. CNN's Renee Marsh has the latest.
Tonight, the CDC is working to track 16 people who were near or had contact with Amber Vinson when she was in Northeast Ohio.
Additional work is being done to that list, and we may have changes to that list, which is why we're talking today.
Before being diagnosed, Vinson flew round trip from Dallas to Cleveland. Frontier Airlines is notifying up to 800 passengers, including those who flew with her and those who later traveled on one of the same planes.
I'm more worried than I am angry. It's kind of one of those things where it happened. Now I just want to be positive and deal with it and move on.
Also tonight, a lab supervisor from the hospital where Ebola patient Thomas Eric Duncan died remains quarantined on a cruise ship. Eric Luffner is one of the more than 4,000 passengers on board.
I think it's more of a, oh, holy cow, we're on a boat with an Ebola scare. You know, I don't think it's, oh, I need to get off of here, I'm going to get sick.
The woman never had contact with Duncan, but may have had contact with his fluid samples. In a statement, Carnival Cruise Line says, at no point in time has the individual exhibited any symptoms or signs of infection, and it has been 19 days since she was in the lab with the testing samples. The lab tech boarded the Carnival Magic on October 12th before being notified of increased monitoring requirements.
If I were on this cruise ship, I wouldn't be concerned at all. In a vast excess of caution, she is isolating herself, which from an objective science-based risk assessment is quite unnecessary.
The ship is currently returning to Texas. Mexico refused to allow it to dock, and a request by the U.S. government to evacuate the passenger through Belize was rejected.
And that ship arrives in Texas this Sunday. As for the people who were on board the 2 flights the Dallas nurse took, the airline says it's contacted everyone. And Georgia Governor Nathan Deal says state officials and hospitals are ready to handle patients diagnosed with Ebola. He also calls for travel to be banned from impacted countries. State health officials say hospitals in the Peach State are preparing and will be capable of isolating a patient who may have Ebola. And health officials in South Carolina are efforting a statewide communications network to deal with Ebola. The state is working with U.S. Customs to make sure they know if any residents or visitors have recently traveled to West Africa. The Department of Health and Environmental Control says the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston has agreed to provide care for any Ebola patients in the state.
We are going to see more cases in the United States, but we are going to do everything we can to contain those cases. We are not West Africa. We have this. We have a robust, trained emergency management system that can really work to contain this.
And it's expected that centers in Greenville and Columbia will announce they will care for any Ebola patients if necessary. And wjcl has been covering the Ebola outbreak since the beginning. We talk with the Coast Guard, the airports, local hospitals, and all of our coverage is online. That includes a timeline of the outbreak and video illustrating the messy truth about Ebola. You'll find all of our coverage on our website at wjcl.com. It's in the Ebola section under the News tab. And Samar Theodore has another look at weather. I think temps are going to be dropping pretty soon. Is that right, Samara?
That's right. We've got a cold front on the way. We'll take a look at that, and I'll let you know how your week is panning out. Stay tuned for your full Storm Tracker forecast.
Yeah, I don't know why I put that in there.
Good evening. Here's the latest out of the Savannah airport. We're looking at 68 degrees right now. Further inland, cooling down in areas like Hampton is 61. Wind out of the northwest picking up at 10 miles per hour. Now here's a look at the storm tracker satellite and radar image, more so emphasizing the satellite since we don't really have any rain on the board. We are seeing this cold front etched out here when these clouds beginning to sink into the southeast. On the other side of it lies a lot of cooler air. Zooming in, you can see that some of the clouds are already making their way, moving from the inland towards the coast. And we're going to continue to see that pattern as we head through the overnight hours, as well as temperatures dropping. Good thing is this cold front's not bringing with it any rain. Model forecast showing that specifically all the way through Sunday remaining dry, not cloud in the sky. By Monday, there's a little disturbance off the shore, but really not picking up any rain from maybe a drizzle or two here and there. For your weekend forecast tonight, temps will continue to fall into the mid-50s. We are expecting clear conditions, though. As for tomorrow, well, they're going to struggle to make it out of the low 70s, 74 degrees, but plenty of sunshine, making for a beautiful fall day. As for Hurricane Gonzalo, well, it's up and out of here, moving very quickly at the northeast at 39 miles per hour. And there goes Bermuda just there. When it hit Bermuda, it was a Category 3, a major hurricane, but again, downgraded to Category 1, moving very rapidly as it heads out to sea, not impacting our area at all. As for our waters along the coast, winds are coming out of the north at 10 to 15 knots, a little active tomorrow because of that front there. Waves peaking at 3 feet, but mostly sunny conditions with water temperatures around 76 degrees. For your sun and tides, high tide at 5:24 a.m., sun rising at 7:31 and setting at 6:48 p.m. Here's a look at your Storm Tracker 7-day forecast if you are planning ahead. Again, plenty of sunshine throughout the week. We are going to see temps continue to drop, though, towards the 70s as we head into tomorrow, and then they'll pick back up by Tuesday towards 81 degrees. Let's look at your Storm Tracker 7-day forecast. Ash, back to you.
Thank you, Samara. And Hurricane Gonzalo isn't going to hit us here in Savannah, thankfully, but it's a good reminder to be prepared this hurricane season. And we're working for you on wjcl.com. If you click on the Hurricane Seasons tab under Weather, you can find several resources. Watch our special, Surviving the Storm, plus find local resources to keep you and your family safe. And you can also find out how hurricanes are categorized. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And now, WJCL News, working for you.
And retired Savannah Police Lieutenant John White served the community for nearly 40 years. Now the very same community he's helped to protect is now helping him. WJCL's Brandon Livornia has more on the heartwarming story.
Lieutenant John White is about to turn 90 years old, and it's been an eventful 9 decades. He was one of Savannah's first black officers. He put his life on the line for many years. Now those in the community are helping him.
Former Savannah Police Lieutenant John White served 38 years on the force. He was one of the original 9, the first group of black police officers.
It was hard because you're fighting people on both sides of the fence.
He's the last surviving member of the group that dealt with segregation. But for 38 years, he protected everyone in Savannah.
There was a group of people west of West Broad who used to sing a song, "There'll be 9 new graves in Lowers Road Cemetery."
Lieutenant Robert Gavin has known White for years. He says the original 9 had a difficult job, but played an integral role to the department's future success.
Policing back then, I mean, he wasn't allowed to police anybody outside of his race.
White retired in the home he built 60 years ago, which is now falling apart. Lieutenant White grew up in the blue house next door to the one he's living in now. He says he's extremely grateful for all the help he's receiving. Those lending a helping hand say they were more than happy to help out.
Back in the days before the bulletproof vests and all the close calls he had, I really feel like he had an angel at his side helping him along the way.
You know, he still takes part in a lot of things. He's still a big member of this community, and you know, we need to remember that.
Volunteers from Impact Savannah, Hands On Savannah, and Cole Properties are helping to repair almost every inch of the house, laying new wood flooring or coating the walls with new paint. The former lieutenant in Monteford Point Marine says it's another story to add to his already memorable life.
I appreciate it. I cried at the beginning because I'm being helped at my young age.
John White says he's planning to go fishing and hunting for his 90th this weekend. In the studio, I'm Brandon Livornia for WJCL News, working for you.
And new equipment is on the way to help fight crime in Statesboro. The police department has been awarded a $8,500 grant for a new bulletproof vest. This is the 14th year the department received a Bureau of Justice Assistant grant. City leaders say that has saved taxpayers nearly $60,000. And in South Carolina, dramatic dash cam video shows a police officer saving a woman's life on the side of a busy interstate. She was choking, and his quick thinking and life-saving skills got her breathing again. Diana Watson has the story.
It was a normal day patrolling for State Transport Police Officer E.J. New. You see his dash cam as he rolls along Interstate 85 in Anderson County last month. Within moments, he pulls this truck over for a violation. But out of view of the camera, another truck pulls in behind him.
A lady gets out, comes running up to me. I thought she was coming to ask for directions or to say somebody cut her off, but she was actually choking.
Officer New says it was clear the truck driver needed his help. His training kicked into action.
You okay? I got off the side of the road, back into the front of my car, and performed the Heimlich maneuver.
The dash cam picks it up.
The first 2 or 3 compressions, did nothing happen, and on the 3rd or 4th one, I felt her body kind of go limp, like she was about to pass out on me, and I gave a little extra thrust, and as you can see, the candy flew out of her mouth.
Out of frame, you could hear the woman breathing, crying, and coughing. Officer New is humble about his actions, but those who work with him consider him a hero.
Just thank God that God put me there.
We're just very proud of him. He allowed his training to kick in, and he took care of the situation.
Back to the video, you hear the woman give her thanks to the transport police officer in the right place at the right time.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I don't know what I would have done if I wouldn't saw you guys here.
Moments later, she went back to her truck and drove away. Now the hope is that she will come forward.
I would like to actually meet her again. I don't even know her name. I didn't ask. I just did what I had to do.
And this is the second time Officer New has saved someone's life. He performed CPR on a man having a heart attack when he was in college. He says this all shows the importance of being trained in life-saving skills. Really good, awesome story, right?
You want to be around that police officer if you're in a time of trouble. I mean, my goodness,
Right.
CPR and Heimlich maneuver.
Right, he has it covered.
That's
but
right.
I hear you had sports covered today. Busy day.
Always do. Always have sports covered on Saturday. Of course, another busy day in the Coastal Empire and Low Country. We talk about South Carolina, Georgia, of course, playing. Savannah State also playing today. So we're going to have all those highlights and more coming up right after the break. Stick around. Sports is up next. Welcome to sports, everyone. The Savannah State Tigers still searching for their first win of the season. It was going to be a tough one picking it up tonight as the Tigers welcome MEAC frontrunner Bethune-Cookman to TA Wright Stadium. Big Frank was there and has the highlights.
Savannah State doing their part to promote breast cancer awareness. This one, their pink game. Bethune-Cookman going to work in the first quarter. Kerry White with the rock. He takes it down to the Tiger 1-yard line. Very next play, it's Michael Jones taking it into the end zone. 7-0 Wildcats. Savannah State looking to answer on 3rd and long. Tino Smith looking to throw, decides to pull it down and run. Good decision. Smith picks up 29 yards into Bethune territory. However, a couple plays later, Tigers with the turnover. Smith throwing, but Thomas Finney going to come up with the nifty interception. But you know what? Bethune, they wouldn't have the ball long. They're going to give it right back. Tigers going to strip the ball loose at midfield, and the home team there to recover. Michael Knox now in at quarterback. He's going to throw deep. It's no thing of beauty, but he gets the job done as Jalen McGriff makes the catch deep in Bethune-Cookman territory. Very next play, Tigers going to tie things up. Knox on the keeper. He's headed into the end zone. 7-7 game at the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, all Bethune-Cookman. Larry Brim hits Frank Brown on the slant. Brown, he's going to pick up a big block, and what can Brown do for you? Well, he can go the distance. 52 yards on this hookup. That's another touchdown. 14-7 Wildcats. Following a Savannah State interception takes Bethune just one play to find pay dirt again. Brim throwing deep for Jahoma Gordon, who's going to make the catch in stride. He's into the end zone. That touchdown is going to make it 21-7. Bethune-Cookman continues to soar moments later. Brim going to call his own number. He's going to take it to the right and right into the end zone. Wildcats up 28-7 at the half. Savannah State unable to extinguish the red-hot Wildcats. Bethune-Cookman rolls on to the big win over Savannah State.
Georgia on the road at Arkansas. We'll head to the second quarter. Georgia with the lead. It's going to be Nick Chubb. Here he is breaking free, and he's going to be gone for the 43-yard touchdown, running past everybody. Makes it a 17-6 ball game. Now 24-6. Mason to Michael Bennett for the 7-yard score. That makes it 31-6. And then just moments later, Jordan Jenkins sacks Brandon Allen, and the ball is out. Dominic Sanders picks it up and goes 54 yards for the score, 38-6 at that point. But they wouldn't be done. Fourth quarter, Mason is going to find Chris Conley with the 36-yard touchdown. Chubb is going to run for over 200 yards in this game as Georgia goes on to win 45-32, the final over Arkansas. South Carolina taking on Furman at home in Columbia. First quarter, Dylan Thompson, 14-yard pass to Shaq Rowland for the score. Makes it 7-0 as he takes out that poor camera guy. Then Mike Davis doing some work in the red zone. Look at him as he throws off that defender and gets into the end zone. Second quarter, Thompson airing it out to Gerald Adams for a 45-yard touchdown. That makes it 21-7 Gamecocks, but they wouldn't be done. Still in the first half, Mike Davis with a 2-yard run makes it 28-7 at half. In the second half, Sean Carson with the big pickup for South Carolina. He would later score. The Gamecocks go on to win this one 41-10, the final. And Georgia Tech, they fall on the road tonight at North Carolina. 43-48 would be the final. The Tar Heels scored a touchdown with 11 seconds left to give UNC the win. This one would have a thrilling ending. 32 points scored in the fourth quarter. Georgia Tech loses their second game of the season.
Wow, poor Georgia Tech.
I was going to say, I know you're from Atlanta. You don't like that.
I'm trying to root for them, but poor Georgia Tech.
That's right. Second loss of the year.
Right. Well, Samara, you got our last look at weather for this week. What can we expect?
Let's take a look at that Storm Tracker 7-day forecast. Plenty of sunshine, great temps. How about it, guys?
Yeah, looks good to me.
Right, I like it.
Right. And cool temps, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. For more on what is going on in our community, log on to our website at wjcl.com. We hope to see you back here tomorrow night.